Yo, what's good, y'all? Welcome to my new podcast called The Wild Side. We gonna cover a variety of topics, so buckle up, cause this definitely gonna knock your socks off, and probably your toenails too. Um, so just to get to know a bit about me. I'm a zookeeper, and I work with like giraffes, rhinos and shit, and it's dope. So, pay's not great, but you know, it's definitely a fun job. You know, um, so lots of action every single day, um, from the animals as well. If you catch my drift here. And then there's other days where it's super sketchy. It's like a clenched butthole 24/7. So, you know, um, we got days where like unfortunately animals pass away. And then we got other days where we get new shipments with animals, and it's pretty dope. So, one of my favorite, or one of my like most embarrassing stories. I don't know why I said favorite. It's embarrassing. I was working with the ostriches, right? And I bent down to pick something up because we in the yard with them. And I bent down to pick something up, and I felt something wet, warm, and clumpy land on my head. And I'm standing right next to an ostrich's ass. And I look up, and we were under a tree, me and the ostrich, and I look up, and it's a damn pigeon. You know how pissed off I was to have this work experience, and to be standing there and to look up and see that I've been shitted on, not by an ostrich, but by a pigeon. If it was an ostrich, it could be much more badass. It could definitely be a story, a much better story than a pigeon. You know how devastated I was in that moment. I wanted to stub my toe against a tree stump so hard. So I did. Anyways, that's besides the point. Now I only got 9 toes, but we rocking. I got lots of dope stories like that. I work with the giraffes a lot, and we had 3 male giraffes whenever I first started. And I remember getting trained and my boss being like, oh yeah, we got 3 boys here. We have Cosmo, and I was like, alright, that's a cute name. Alright, then we got Alan. I was like, what the hell? Alan? A giraffe? Come on, y'all gotta do better. What's the last one's name? And she said, Brayden. I said, what the fuck? Brayden? Hell no. Like, let me tell you what, now we only have Brayden and a new giraffe that we got. Her name is Waffles, which is a great name for a giraffe. It's not some random ass name. But so my ass is in the yard, and whenever it's time to feed them or whatever, I'm out here yelling. I'm like, Brayden. I feel so stupid, man. Like, I feel like, like when you got a shirt that has a thread that's exposed, and you're like, oh man, it's over, like, and you just pull it and it just goes forever. That's how I feel every single time I have to yell Brayden. He's a cute giraffe, but the name trips me out so much. So, that's cool and all. you know, I work with like anteaters and capybaras as well. Let me tell you what, I did not notice about anteaters, but essentially what'll happen whenever they go to mate is the male anteater will get his tongue, go and do his thing with his tongue, with his stuff, and then he gets his tongue covered in a certain stuff and sticks it in homegirl stuff. Boom, baby anteaters. It's one of the more disgusting facts that I know, you know, but nature's nature, man. Ain't nothing we can do about it. I mean, unless we decide to like artificially implant all these female anteaters, then it's that's a whole nother situation. But you know, let's see. Oh, had to pop my fingers, man. Let me tell you what, I'm only 20 years old, but I got arthritis from this job, man. This job kicked me hard, man. Feels like I'm wearing a football helmet and I'm repeatedly getting kicked in the head by Cristiano Ronaldo's left foot. You know what? Like, it's rattling 24/7, except with my whole body. You know, like I got hip issues. I got stuff. Yeah. So, you know, it's pretty interesting though. Let me tell you what. I also work with rhinos. I wish I could say I like them as much as other people that do work with rhinos like them. But they are extremely, extremely annoying. And not because they're too much or whatever. Just everything else. You know, they are dope animals, really badass. But they smell terrible. And I'm not saying animals should smell good, but the rhinos smell bad, man. And we have to medicate them too. So we get a couple pills, put them in a banana, tell them open their mouth. They open their mouth. We have to put our entire hand in their mouth. Because I don't know exactly if this is a fact or not. I know I work with them, so y'all don't diss on me. But I don't think they have, like, front teeth. They only got molars. So we're cool to, like, stick our entire hand in their mouth. And so we do. And then you go to pull your hand out. And it's like a vacuum cleaner, man. A vacuum cleaner covered in, like, peanut butter. You know? Like, the inside nozzle is just coated with that, you know? You know the oil that comes out of the peanuts? That's how it feel. Except the hose for the vacuum cleaner is very malleable. And it's like one of those memory foam pillows, you know? So, anyways, you go to pull your hand out of the rhino's mouth, and all you can smell is just rhino breath. Let me tell you what, these motherfuckers don't brush. They do not brush. It's bad, man. It's terrible. First time I ever smelled it, I almost passed out. You know. Another bad smelling thing is this concoction called lime sulfur. That stuff. Essentially, this stuff is used to stop like ringworm and like I don't really know what else. Oh, and some like minor scabbing due to other infections. So whenever we had our 3 male giraffes, Braden, Allen, and Cosmo, they had these like scabs on their huevos, and every day we had to get like one of those pump sprayers like you see like the pest control guys using, you know. And we had to fill that thing up with lime sulfur and spray their huevos with it. But one day I went to go pump it up and the bottle exploded on me. and it went straight to my face. And if y'all ever smelled sulfur before, it just smells like broccoli, eggs, nice little piece of shit as the cherry on top. And yeah, we got like compost areas where we dump all the animal shit. And as soon as that smell hit my face, I ran over to the compost and almost yacked. Man. Let me tell you what, it was gonna be chunks. It was gonna be chunks, and it was gonna be nasty. Because I also had Taco Bell, Chipotle, and then I also had some salad from this fire salad place. So it was, if I blew chunks, it was gonna be ruthless. That's what I'm saying, you know. But I don't even know, you know. I didn't blow chunks though, you know. I've never threw up for anything disgusting. Only time I threw up was when I was like 6, you know. I was at my grandma's house. And we're in Oklahoma, middle of nowhere. I think the town has like 600 people. And I leaned forward, and it's like 2 a.m. I'm in the guest bedroom. I lean up, I throw up, right? I threw up, man, and it was everywhere. Because as I'm throwing up, I'm like trying to walk to the toilet, but I'm 6. Because like, how am I supposed to know how throw up feel? So I throw up, and then I walk over, and I threw up a lot on the floor, so I lost a throw up on my feet. And I'm walking all the way to my grandma, and I call her Nana, and I was like, "Hey, Nana." She wakes up, she's like, "What you want?" And I was like, "I threw up." She's like, "What?" I was like, "Yep, I threw up. It's everywhere." She's like, "All right." And so she wakes up, you know, we clean it up and everything. And then yeah, I went back to sleep. And, you know, I'm 20 now. And she recently moved out of her house. And, like, less than a year ago. And she called me the other day, and she's like, "Hey, you remember when you threw up?" And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "I found some when I was cleaning out the room. I found some of your throw up." I was like, "Dog, that was almost 15 years ago. How you still got my chunks from 15 years ago hiding under the bed? You not watch that? That's disgusting." But, you know, she was a dope grandma, you know. I mean, I say was. She not dead. She very much kicking. Very fortunate for that. Her and my grandpa, we called him Grumpy. You know, long story behind that. That'll be a story for another day. They both retired. He was a firefighter, and she worked at a church. And you know, they had a ton of land, so like, what are we gonna do? And you know, like any typical old grandparents, they bought camels. So that is where my animal journey began. Imagine 13-year-old me, little bust down me, just waltzing through his life. And my mom being like, "You know what? Go spend summer with your grandparents." And I did. Boom, they're camels. And I was like, "Whoa, what the hell? This dope." So, you know, I like the camels a lot. And I asked my grandpa, I was like, "Yo, Grumpy, how I get to ride this thing?" And he was like, "You gotta train it to ride." He was like, "But I just don't have time to do it." And I was like, "You retired, aren't you?" He was like, "Yeah, but I don't have time." And I was like, "All right, whatever." So I started training it, like 13, 14-year-old me, training camels. It was dope, man. I got the camels to like come over to me, stay there, lay down with me in the pen, let me like pet them and everything while they're in the pen and lay down, let me put the saddle on them, and then they died. Camels are really susceptible to any type of parasite or worm or anything. So it was unfortunate and it was sad, but you know, it teaches you something, you know. Never buy a camel in Oklahoma. That's the lesson I learned from this. So, Maybe like Alaska, where it's cold and the worms are all frozen and dead and shit. But other than that, nah. Like if you living in like Louisiana, don't get a camel because you know there's worms crawling in that mud, you know. So I don't know, man. But you know, we had camels at the zoo too, and they ended up going because they were apparently rented. Like, why the fuck a zoo rent animals? I don't understand that. You know, like it just don't make sense. It don't make sense to me. You know, like I don't even know. Yeah, they also rent kangaroos as well. The zoo rents the kangaroos. You know, and that's kind of where my journey at the zoo began. As I was working with the kangaroos, and you know, I'm working there for like 6 months, and I finally find out that these things are rented, so we can't train these things or whatever. And so I was like, oh shit. Well, I don't want this anymore. So I got promoted to the job that I have now, which I'm very grateful for. But yeah, man, it's stupid. Like, the zoo actually pays more to rent kangaroos than it would for them to buy fresh kangaroos right out the cloaca, which, if you don't know, is kangaroo private parts. So stay away from the cloaca. That's which is also weird, because it's like everything in the cloaca is like everything in one. It's a package deal, you know, and it's just on this like little thing that hangs down. And everyone that sees it, and they're like, "Oh, that's a male." You see his ding dong, and I'm like, "Bro, nah, that's everything right there," you know. Like, I don't know. You know, I whenever I first started working with the kangaroos, there was a baby kangaroo that was there, and his mom died, and he kind of hung around me all the time. So I was like, shit, I must be the mama kangaroo, you know, which is an interesting way to look at it. But anyways, this little shit's name was Cole. He was cute. Actually, he was kind of ugly compared to a lot of other kangaroos. I think I just thought he's cute because he's one of my favorite animals that I work with. But anyways, any beans. Yeah, he was kind of doing his thing and getting older, and I don't really know how. Like, I couldn't walk you through the process of how I did it. It didn't require me doing anything weird, but I taught him how to piss onto other people, because our kangaroos were a like experience, so you can go in there and pet them. So people would come in and go to pet him, and he'd stand up and just pee on them. I've never been so proud before. Like I said, I don't know exactly how I did it, but he definitely did it, man. He definitely did it. Also, he was the most aggressive kangaroo that we ever had. Like, there was so many times he'd be laying down, and this little 5-year-old would walk up to him, start petting him, and he'd hop right up and start beating the shit out of this kid. Start kicking, start biting, start going ham, bro. Like, and all I could think of is, man, he's gonna be a menace whenever he gets, like, full grown, you know? He's gonna see you, and if you look at him wrong, or if you in a general vicinity, you know? Like, if you in the same area that, like, you could smell a fart, then he gonna ham, you know? Like, he gonna kick. You gonna get the knee, or not the knee, you gonna get the heel to the nose, man. The heel to the sniffer, know what I'm saying? And he was little and his kicks hurt too, you know? But he bit and scratched a lot, you know? I got scars to this day from when he would, like, bite and scratch. But he was my baby, you know? So I couldn't hate him. And right as I got the promotion, the little kangaroo area is like under the department that I'm in now. So we essentially call the shots for it. And yeah, he as soon as I got the position, they shipped him out back to the dude that we rent him from. Which is unfortunate, you know, but I guess it's like a metaphor for my career, you know, which is real silly. It's such a goofy thing to say, but you know, goofy things must be said. Am I right? But anywho, you know, and then right about the time that, you know, little baby Cole, that was his name. I don't know if I said it. Right about the time little baby Cole left, we ended up getting, like I said, I got promoted, so I'm working with a whole bunch of animals. We ended up getting a new giraffe and a new warthog. Currently, I'm the only trainer for a warthog and a giraffe in the entire zoo, which is kind of a big deal. I know for like regular people, it don't make sense, but if you're a zookeeper, it's a big thing. You know what I mean? It's like you in the UFC now. You in the NBA. Like, this is big stuff. It's not just like training dogs and cats and horses. No. We working with these animals that, like, you know, they don't like you. They just gonna kill you, you know. So anyway, we got this female warthog, and she went with our male warthog. I think she's pregnant now, but I don't know. Warthogs are already fat, so it's kind of hard to tell whenever they're pregnant or not. And then we got a baby female giraffe, and her name Waffles, which, like I said earlier, is a cute name for a giraffe. Anyways, yeah, so it's a lot of training, and that stuff is cool. It can get really annoying because it's not like a person, you know, where they ain't listening. You can just slap them, tell them focus up. You know, this an animal. You can't just smack them. I mean, if you did, you'd probably get fired, and under certain situations, possibly go to jail, and where you smack them. Yeah. But, you know, that's fun and all. Not smacking animals, smacking people, you know. That's a lot of times what I say is, you know, like, a lot of people are stupid when they're in terms of like working in public spaces. Not public spaces, that's a dumb word. Like retail and restaurants and everything, is you working directly with people. And I hated that. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna work with animals. So I started working with animals, you know? Because while, yeah, there's people at the zoo, it's not the same as like restaurant or retail, or they just hating on you. So, oh my God, that stutter was unreal, my bad. So yeah, so essentially, I start working with animals, you know, and I get stopped occasionally by some people, and they're like, "Excuse me, sir, where's the lions?" I'm like, "Oh, you know the big sign that says lions? Just follow that thing." And they're like, "All right." Also, for some odd reason, a lot of single women go to the zoo, and I rock with that heavily. Oh my God. You know, there's code words that we use whenever we see a really hot girl. So we're not just walking down the pathway being like, smash, you know? Or, so we got code words. I can't expose these code words because then they're going to ruin the point, you know? But, yeah. So that's what it is, you know? So, yeah, so... But I think I am going to wrap it up here. We're coming right up on 25 minutes. You know, I hope this first episode... Oh, my God. I think I just had an episode. I hope this first episode does great, you know. And if you listen to part of it, or all of it, or none of it, that's cool. If there's any parts you like, let me know in the comments so I can go a bit more in description on the next podcast. But yeah, so yeah, there's a little bit about me, a little bit about what I do. Yeah, stay tuned for the next episode. I don't know when it'll be. I'm gonna try and do these like maybe once a week. So, but we'll see how it goes from there. So, just follow me, follow my journey. Let's hope we get big. If we get enough going on, we can get a camera, a microphone, like a professional microphone, not what I'm using now. So, but yeah, so stay tuned for the next episode. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for watching The Wild Side. I'm out.